Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the 12 tribes, Yasha Allah, give me course. All honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba, Shema, Mashak, Yahweh. That's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God, Yahweh. In the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh. This is Brother Yasha Allah, right, coming back, y'all, with yet another video through the Spirit and power, Yahweh, Ba, Shema, Mashak, Yahweh. All right. Praise Yahweh, Yahweh. Shalom to the 12, of course, again. And I'm gonna get straight into this. This is going into the Lord is a God of justice and judgment, right? The Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh is a God of justice and judgment. All right, I'm gonna kick it off with the book of Psalms 33 and 5. We have to understand what kind of God we're dealing with when we're dealing with the God of the Bible. All right, the God of the Bible, in all sincerity, is a God that deals with justice and delights in judgment. And we can see this in a multiplicity of various scriptures. Let's go to the book of Psalms 33, right? I'm going to start at verse 1. All right, Psalms 33 and 1. It says, "Rejoice in the Lord, O ye righteous, for praise is comely for the upright. Praise the Lord with an harp, and sing unto him with a psaltery, and with an instrument of 10 strings. Sing unto him with a new song, play skillfully with a loud noise." Right? For the word of the Lord is right, and all his works are done in truth. Right? Here's a point, verse 5. He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. Right? So that's the point I want to harp on. Right? The Lord, he loves righteousness and judgment. Right? So like Khan, it says he loves righteousness and judgment. That's what the Lord delights in. Right? He loves that. As much as he loves the nation of Israel, right? As much as he loves Yahweh Shah, as much as he loves executing judgment, the Lord, he loves righteousness and loves judgment. You know, that's Yahweh Baal Yahweh Shah. That's the God of the Bible. All right, he delights in that. All right, and whether that judgment is putting 1,000 people to death, right? Whether that judgment is a righteous judgment or because all the judgments of the Lord are righteous. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach. Okay, because like it says in the book of Romans, who have been the Lord's counselor, right? Nobody has been the Lord's counselor. Nobody can tell the Lord, oh, the Lord, you know, he's going off in that, right? I don't know why he commanded Saul to put all the Amalekites to death, right? That doesn't sound right. That's not righteous judgment, right? You're not, hey, we can't say that. You know what I'm saying? We are not in the place to say that. We are not the Lord's counselor, right? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 39. The Lord knows so much more than us, right? 1,000 times more than us. So whatever decision he makes, whatever judgment he puts out, that is righteous, right? Let's go to Sirach 39 and verse 15. Magnify his name, right? And show forth his praise with the songs of your lips. And with harps, and in praising him, you shall say after this manner, all the works of the Lord are exceeding good, and whatsoever he commanded shall be accomplished in due season. So all the works are exceeding good. All the works of the Lord are righteous and exceeding good, right? So let's keep going. Let's go to another precept, right? Let's go to Isaiah 30 and 18. Okay, let's go to Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 18. It says, "And therefore will the Lord wait, that he may be gracious unto you, and therefore will he be exalted, that he may have mercy upon you. For the Lord is a God of judgment. Blessed are all they that wait for him." Right? So the Lord is a God of judgment. Simple as that. All right? He delights in that. And let's look up what judgment means real quick. Let's look at what judgment means. Right? So I'm going to share my screen. I'm doing this on the Chromebook. Okay? Doing this on the Chromebook this time. So let's look up what judgment means. All right, it says the ability to make considered decisions or come to sensible conclusions. Right? Okay, well, that's not really what we wanted. an opinion or conclusion, a decision of the court or judge. Remember, the Most High is the judge, right? Let's get that in the book of Second Esdras, right? 1667, right? Remember, the Most High is the judge because it says a decision of a court or judge. Whatever the judge, decides for that for a judgment to play out, hey, that's what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying, right? Let's go to the book of Second Esdras chapter 16. The judge, he calls the shots. Second Esdras 16 and verse 67, right? It says, "Behold, God Himself is the judge." So the Most High Himself is the judge, right? He's the top judge because you got minor judges, just like how you have lesser shepherds. You got the one shepherd, which is Yahweh Shah, right? You have lesser judges on the earth, right? So like let me see if I can get that preset, right? You have a lot of judges, but there's only one supreme judge. Just like how you have many gods, there's only one supreme God, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, right? Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon real quick, just to prove that. Wisdom of Solomon, right? Chapter 6 and verse 1. I'm sorry, 1, right? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and verse 1. All right, come, we're good. All praises. Right? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and verse 1. Hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand. Learn ye that be judges of the ends of the earth. Give ear, you that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. So, judges, they rule the people, right? They have power over people, right? That's why judges are called gods, because God just means power, right? When you go to the book of Exodus, right? This is kind of a sidebar, but it's still edification, nevertheless, right? Let's go to the book of Exodus, right? Let's go to Exodus chapter 22 and verse 28, right? It says, "Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people." That's going into the judges, right? It's going into the judges that rule the people, right, of Israel. Because remember, you had judges set up during the time of Exodus. You had judges. You also had Moses and Aaron, and these were the top men that were governing the house of Israel during that time. But you also have judges and elders that will also control the people. And so one of the laws listed in Exodus is that you cannot revile the gods. These gods is going into the judges, because judges, they have power, therefore they're called gods, right? But let's go back to this Second Esdras. So you have many judges on the earth, but there's only one supreme judge, and that's Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, the Father, right? So let's go back to Second Esdras 16 and verse 67. "Behold, God Himself is the judge. Fear Him. Leave off from your sins, and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall God lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble," right? So let's read this other definition. That says a misfortune or calamity viewed as divine punishment. So, for example, the crash has been a judgment on the parents for wickedness, right? And that's also what the Lord delights in as well, right? A calamity. The Lord delights in destroying, right? And righteously destroying the wicked. And the men of the Lord, they delight in that too, right? You can read about that all up in Psalms, right? The Lord, David, the righteous man, right? Because let's go to the book of real quick. Let's go to 1 Kings 11. David was called perfect in the eyes of the Lord. All right. Yet David, he prayed for the downfall of his enemies. Let's go to the book of 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse number 2. "Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love." So Solomon, of course, he was going off because he was marrying Canaanitish women, right? When you read verse 1, he was marrying Zidonians. He was also marrying Hittites, right? which were certain nations that we could not marry. That's Daniel, Salakia, Deuteronomy 7:1 on down. But when Solomon was going off, the Lord is saying that, look, Salakia, verse 4, I wanted verse 4, right? It says, for it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. So the Lord is saying that David, who was the father of Solomon, his heart was perfect with the Most High. Yet David prayed for the downfall of his enemies. Anybody that has read Psalms knows that David has prayed for the downfall of his enemies, right? And the Lord did not rebuke him for that, right? David didn't go off by doing that. That is actually a righteous thing. But David, he prayed for the downfall of enemies, and the Lord did so, right? The Lord hearkened unto the voice of David, his servant, all right? Let's get another precept, though, showing that the Lord delights in judgment. Because what did the Lord do, right? The Lord, he destroyed Egypt. With 10 plagues, the Lord destroyed Egypt. And he took delight in that, right? He took delight in that. He took delight in delivering his people. But in order for him to deliver his people, he had to bring down Egypt. And he took delight in bringing down Egypt because Egypt was often and it was wicked, and Egypt was oppressing his people. That's why the Lord is going to have delight in destroying Esau and these other nations when Yahushua comes back, right? Let's go. But yeah, nevertheless, let's go to the book of Jeremiah 9, right? And 23. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 23. It says, thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches. So we shouldn't be glorying in our wisdom, right? We should not be glorying in how much money we may have, right? All this vanity, right? As the Lord has given, the Lord can easily take away. You know what I'm saying? So this stuff is not, our might, right? Our glory, right? Our riches. We shouldn't boast in these things. But what should we boast in? Right? Let's go to verse 24. But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me. Right? That we know the Most High. That's what we should be glorying in. That we're in this truth, that we actually know the Most High. To know the Most High means to keep his commandments. That's 1 John chapter 2, right? In verse 3. To know the Most High means to keep his commandments. The Most High has brought us in this truth, gave us the Holy Spirit, the Havarach Kadash, right? The Rock Kadash, right? And which has compelled us to keep the law. But let's keep going. That I am the Lord, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord. So the Lord explicitly just stated that he loves executing loving kindness and judgment in the earth. See that? All the judgment that's going on in the earth, right? The wicked being destroyed, the Lord delights in that. You know what I'm saying? In that righteous judgment. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. And the Lord is displeased with this world because there's no judgment being executed here, right? Nobody is correcting our people, right? Except for those of us that's out there through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bash and Yahweh Shah to correct our people. But there is no other than us, nobody is getting on our people. No judgment is being established, especially here in America, right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 59 and verse 14. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. There's no judgment here, right? It's all out of order. This place is all out of order, right? Let's get that in the book of Job, chapter 10. All right. This world is all out of order. Let's go to Job chapter 10 and verse 21. Before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, a land of darkness as darkness itself. Darkness is associated with evil and sin and iniquity, right? It says a land of darkness as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death without any order, and where the light is as darkness. So this place, because this is talking about, in the spirit, it's talking about Babylon the Great, which is America, right? In the spirit. But this place is without order, and there's no light here. The light is talking about the truth, the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, the law, statutes, and commandments. That's Proverbs 6 and 23. For the commandment is a lamp and the law is light, right? The law is not being executed here because the law contains judgments, right? The law contains judgments, right? Let's go to that in the book of Ezekiel. What are the judgments of the law? For example, when you go to the book of Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10, if a man is found lying with a married woman, right, both of them should be put to death. That's a judgment, right? That should be executed, right? Of course, through the grace of Yahweh, that's kind of different, but that's an example of a judgment in the law, right? Let's go to that real quick. Let's pull this precept. And the judgments will be executed on these other nations in the kingdom of heaven, right? Quick sidebar. This is Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 22, right? I'm gonna start at verse 21, right? Exodus chapter 20 or 37, verse 21. And say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among them, from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. So this is clearly eschaton language here being used, because the Lord is going to gather the dispersed of Israel, right? That because we're in every country, we're in every nation. You can read about that in the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 36, that the Israelites will be scattered into all nations, will be delivered or carried away captive into all nations until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Meaning until Yahweh Shah comes back, right? But it says what? So he's going to gather us from all nations, right? And bring us back into our own land. Verse 22. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. That's talking about Yahweh Shah. And they shall be no more two nations, because Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom were basically two different nations. That's how much we were separated from each other. That's how much we were estranged from one another, right? And became strangers to each other because, we went after other nations, right? And we were divided ever since the time of 1 Kings chapter 11, when the kingdom was divided anyways, right? But it says, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations. Neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. Neither shall they defile themselves with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them, right? So the Lord said that we're going to be executing the judgments. We're going to be walking in the Lord's judgments. The judgments are found in the law. And we're going to be executing these judgments, not necessarily to us, because remember, we're going to be in the new covenant in the kingdom. We're going to be in the new covenant. So we're not going to be executing judgments towards us. There's not going to be brothers committing adultery. We have to put them to death, right? It's not going to be brothers of our own nation being homosexuals and we have to put them to death, right? We don't have to do that in the kingdom of heaven. It's going to be to these other nations. If they go off, we have to execute the judgment written in the law, right? But the Lord is saying in the book of Isaiah, right? The Lord is saying in the book of Isaiah, chapter 59, that judgment is turned away backward, right? Isaiah 59:14, right? There's no judgment within Israel. You know, nobody is getting on our people. Nobody's checking our people. That's why the Lord said, executing judgment in the gate. Right, what precept is that? Hold on, let me find that precept. Right? Let me see. Judgment in the gate, right? Judgment in the gate. Let me see if I pull that. That's all right. That's all right. All right. Shalom, shalom, martyr for Yahweh. Right? Brother Masha. All right, but this Isaiah 59:15. It says, yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. So the Lord is displeased with his people. He's also displeased with this whole world. He's displeased with Babylon the Great, right? Because there's no judgment going on, right? Nobody is going out and executing the judgments that's written in the law. They're not doing that, right? They're not setting up a temple, right? Setting up a priesthood, setting up the judges, like how it was in the ancient world. Nobody's doing that, and the Lord is displeased, right? The Lord is displeased that nobody's getting on his people, and that's why he's raising up mighty men, right, to do his will, right? But so the Lord, he delights in judgment. He likes it when judgment is being executed throughout the four corners of the earth, man, right? And Yahushua too. Because let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 11, right? Revelation 19 and 11. It says, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. So Yahushua, right? Because this is making reference to Yahushua. It says that in righteousness he doth judge and make war. Yahushua, and he's the greatest judge, perhaps, to walk upon the face of the earth, right? So he's going to judge when he comes back. He's going to judge and he's going to make war, right? So, hey, these things the Lord delights in. He delights in judgment. He delights in justice. Let's go to the book of Nahum, chapter 1. All right. Let's go to Nahum, chapter 1. All right. This is the book of Nahum, chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, the burden of Nineveh, the book of the vision of Nahum, the Elkoshite. God is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth, and is on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. That's plain. The Lord, he revengeth. Right? What does that mean? It means to revenge. So the Lord, he takes vengeance. He gets back at you, right? And that's a form of judgment right there, getting back at you, right? Because you did something, now the Lord, he's going to get back at you, right? That's revenge, and he revenges his he takes vengeance for his people too, right? Let's get that real quick in the book of Luke, chapter 18, verse 7. This is Luke chapter 18, verse 7. And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear along with them? See that? So Yahushua is saying, he's asking a rhetorical question. He's saying, the Most High, isn't he going to revenge his own elect? Remember, his elect is talking about the nation of Israel. That's Isaiah 44 and 1. And actually, Isaiah 45 and 4 is actually a better precept. Israel, mine elect. So the Lord, he's going to revenge his people, Israel, right? Which says what? Luke 18:7. And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear along with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth, right? And even in that parable in Luke chapter 18, that proves that's another verse or a few verses that prove that the Most High, he delights in judgment, because remember, judgments are basically brought out or pronounced by judges. You literally have the word judge within the word judgment. Well, basically in the British way of writing it. Remember, in the American way, they actually took off the E after judge, the word judge in judgment. That's why when you read in the scriptures, because remember the 1611 came from Britain, right? It will say judgment, right, with a JUDGEMENT, right? It'll say that in the British word. That's how that's the British spelling, but actually, when you switch it over to the American English, they actually take off that E, right? That's just a sidebar. But the Lord, he delights in judgment, because when you read in Luke chapter 18, there's this judge, right? There's this judge that doesn't regard man, right? And he doesn't fear the Most High, right? Now, this is an unjust judge, and it kind of is a representation of the Most High, because the Most High, he doesn't fear any man. He doesn't regard any man. He doesn't fear any God either, because he is the Most High God, right? But yeah, come. So kind, right? All praises to Yahweh, watching Yahweh Shah. All right. Let's go back to this Jeremiah real quick. All right, I'm gonna close out soon. All right. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 22 and verse 1. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, go down to the house of the king of Judah and speak there this word, and hear Slaki and say, hear the word of the Lord, O king of Judah, that sittest upon the throne of David, thou and thy servants, and thy people that enter in by these gates. Thus saith the Lord, execute ye judgment and righteousness, and deliver the spoiler out of the hand of the oppressor, and do no wrong, do no violence to the stranger, the fatherless, nor the widow, neither shed innocent blood in this place." So the Lord was saying that, look, you got to tell this king of Judah that to execute judgment, right? You got to tell him that, right? So, hey, that's all of the Most High God, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, right? He loves judgment, he loves justice, and he's not going to acquit the wicked, right? So, like, I want to go back to that Nahum, right? I wanted to go back in that, back to that Nahum. It's Nahum 1 and 2. God is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. So the Most High does not acquit the wicked. He's not going to let the wicked get away with his wickedness, right? That's what it means to acquit. Acquit means to basically let go, to pronounce free, to pronounce innocent, right? To let go of a charge. That's basically what acquit is, right? And will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. And the Lord, he executes judgment every day, right? I'm led to believe there's not a day that passes where the Lord does not execute some type of judgment. He either kills somebody, takes somebody out of the land of the living. He gives them a judgment. And not all judgments are deaths, Not all judgments are death. The Lord, he can judge you in a million different ways, 7 million different ways, man. The Lord can judge you. He can make you kill yourself, right? That's what happened to Judas, right? Judas Iscariot, right? He killed himself. He hung himself, You can read about that in 2 Samuel, right? And that was judgment of the Lord for delivering up Yahweh Shah. You can even read 2 Samuel chapter let me get this precept. 2 Samuel, all right? Hold on now. Right. All right, but the point is, the Lord, he can judge you in a million different ways. All right. Khan. That's the point, right? The Lord, he can judge you in a million different ways. In the book of 2 Samuel, I believe it might have been one of the men, right? Men of war, the men of the armies, but he hung himself, right? Oh yeah, it was Ahithophel, right? Ahithophel, right? He hung himself, all right? But yeah, Khan. So that's all I had with that. I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh Bashim Mashak Yahushua. The water for tuning in. All praise to Yahweh Bashim Mashak Yahushua. Lord willing, this is edifying. Shalom. Till next time. Kwam Yasha Allah. All right.